Hello, everyone. Welcome to Serial Scoop Now. This is Roger Newcomb, and my special guest today is Jeffrey Christopher Todd.
Hi, guys. How are you?
You've seen him in many productions across the country, as well as on TV and in films. So we're going to talk about that. So tell me about your backstory. I did a little research on my own, but how did you get the acting bug?
I think I've always had the acting bug. I was always a little ham. And but when I was 8 years old, my mother had the choice between taking me to sports camp or drama camp. And so she just made a decision. And I was Kenickie in Greece when I was 8. And it was over from there.
I guess, I mean, there's just like childhood actors. I guess I just had such little talent as a kid. I can't imagine being on stage and performing that at 8.
Well, you know what's funny is my mom is, my mom is my biggest fan, but she's not a stage mom. So she'd always push me to do anything but acting, but she always supported it. So I never actually was one of those crazy like child actors that did like commercials and stuff. Like I kind of wanted to pursue that, but my mom rather me pursue school and do plays on the side and stuff. So I was always a very active kid, but I wasn't making the bread for the family.
And you grew up in Los Angeles.
I did, yeah.
And you went to high school there, Hamilton High Academy of Music.
Very good, yeah. It's basically like Fame. And, or actually, sorry, let's be more current. It's like going to Glee.
Well, Glee's just a regular high school. They just happen to have a Glee.
That's true. But it was a lot of theater people, and it was a really great experience. And it was a magnet school, so kids from all over Los Angeles went there. It was a great program. It still is, but when I went there, I feel it was at its heyday.
It's all downhill after you.
It's all downhill after me.
Then you went to Northwestern, proving that you don't just play a nerd on TV, you are a nerd in real life.
I went to Northwestern. I was on a dean's list every year, and I graduated summa cum laude. And
theater major?
I had a lot of majors, actually. I'm an overachiever. Theater, yes, but I was also a communication studies major, a sociology, and then I had what's called a certificate in musical theater.
Wow. So you have some careers to fall back on in case this doesn't work out.
Yeah, I'll be a sociologist. That's a big money maker.
And then you moved to New York.
I moved to New York.
The greatest city on earth. And then started...
Where we are right now.
Yes.
It's so good to be back.
And you started doing theater?
Yeah, I mean, my training has always sort of been in theater, so that was the immediate goal. And so I moved right here. I did some summer stock, and then I moved right here. And I lived literally one street down from where we are right now, on 55th, and it was a great apartment.
We might have been neighbors.
Maybe. Sutton Foster was my neighbor for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And
you live in a better building than me.
I lucked out. But yeah, I did that for about 4 years, and then I just decided I really wanted to move back home and pursue more TV and film. And my mom, my room was still available from when I was in high school, and my car was still in the driveway, and so half the battle was won.
Did you want to do theater? Did you want to be on Broadway, or did you want to do TV? Did you have like an ultimate goal, or just do all of them?
I mean, as a kid, I always wanted to do theater and Broadway. But to be honest, New York City was kind of wore me down a little bit, and I really, can you imagine why? The struggle is real. So I don't know, I just wanted to try something different, and I wanted to do more. At the time, there wasn't a lot of, now there's a huge TV and film market here. It's almost, in competition with Los Angeles, if not more, because of all the tax incentives. But when I was here, it wasn't that much to do. So
for prime time, at one time, this was the soap opera capital of the world. And there were, 40 years ago, there were 16 New York daytime soap operas shooting in New York. And so people would do those shows during the daytime and do theater, and it sort of paid for people to do free theater. And
well, what's crazy is soaps have never been on my radar. So this is a huge fluke, and I mean, I'm very grateful, and it's been an amazing experience. I never, in my trajectory or in my thought process or my vision, thought that I would be on a soap opera.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, some of the best actors in the world started on soap. Julianne Moore.
Julianne Moore. Meg Ryan was on it for a while.
Meg Ryan. She doesn't claim soaps, though. Some people graduate from soaps, and then they look back fondly and remember when they worked with Christian LeBlanc and Eileen Davidson and Eric Braeden, and other people act like they never did that.
I know a lot of people came from it. It's a really
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones?
It goes on and on and on and on.
I have to say, it's a really great training ground because, and Judy Bly Wilson, who's the casting director, who's amazing, she loves people who have a background in theater because it's so fast, and we literally on the set get one rehearsal. If we're lucky, we'll get like a blocking rehearsal, and then we'll get like just run through rehearsal, and then we get one take. Wow. So you have to know your stuff, and you have to come in prepared, and you have to be ready and willing and open to really working in the moment, and that comes from theater training, you know.
Well, back in the 70s, when most of the soaps were in New York, you know, they worked during the daytime, and they actually shot a lot of the shows as if they were live. Like they were on tape. They'd stopped being live. They were on tape, but they had the best theater actors in New York on these shows, and the cast were so good.
Kind of like on Tootsie, when it's like, we're going to go live, we're gonna go live.
Exactly. So before Y&R, you've done a lot of different things on TV and films.
Yeah.
But I watched last night Wizards of Waverly Place. You were like fashion nerd. What was that character?
I mean, he was. You're
getting typecast.
Typecast. Well, his name was Jeffrey Jefferies originally. He didn't have a last name when we finally shot it, but and he was the editor-in-chief of Fashion Fatale magazine. It was sort of a play on Ugly Betty meets Devil Wears Prada. Right. And ironically, my really good friend Michael Urie, who I'm staying with right now, it was, I think, the model of that character. It was sort of like a Michael Urie-ish character based on Ugly Betty. And then my co-star, Julia Duffy, was sort of like a Meryl Streep character from Devil Wears Prada.
And Michael just hosted the New York version of the Artios Awards, in which Judy Bly Wilson did not win, just to tie it all together.
Well, she should have won. She's pretty awesome.
She was robbed. But the first version I watched of that last night was like a sped up version. I didn't realize it. Somebody had like sped it up. So everybody sounded like chipmunks, and I was like, oh my God, he's doing this weird voice. But then I saw the real version, and it was...
Oh yeah.
So, anyway.
It's one of my favorite projects to date, and it was Fred Savage was the director.
Ooh.
And Julie Duffy is just, to me, like sitcom royalty, from Newhart and Designing Women, and
also started on soaps.
Did she really?
Yes.
Okay.
And you weren't born when these people were on soaps, so that's why you don't remember.
Yeah. Well, you know, and I never watched soaps except for we can get into that story later, but Young and the Restless, which I interned at when I was in college. Did you find that out in your research?
No. But now this is the scoop. This is a serial scoop. So let's talk about Y&R. How did you get cast? Because the casting said something like a character-y actor.
It was like a character-y actor, and it's in mid-20s to 30s, who had a cold and calculating edge, which is like all it said.
That's him. He's really cold and calculating.
And how did it come up? You know what's so funny is that...
Was it Judy? Do they have different casting?
It was Judy. What's so crazy is that I actually was planning a move back to New York. No joke. And it was completely on my... That was the plan. And in the summer I had spent setting up to come to New York and had an apartment all lined up. And that kind of fell through, and just a series of events led me kind of to stay in Los Angeles. So I decided to find a manager. And I found an amazing manager, Kaylee Venkata Bass from Shywitz Artist Management. Shout out. And my very first audition was Young and the Restless.
Wow. So you're like 100% right now.
What does that mean?
You've never like not got an audition. You've got booked in every job you've ever...
She said hashtag fastest booker ever.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so a good ratio. First audition, first booking.
Was it meant to be like a really short-term thing, or what did they tell you?
You know, it was very open-ended, and he said it was just it was a recurring role, but it was going to be a major recurring role. Yeah, I didn't get much information. I didn't know how long I'd be on, or how short I would be, but they said it would be a significant amount of time.
So Jeffrey plays Tobias, a guy who worked in the Jabot lab, which disappeared for like 20 years, and now it's back with all these. Right. What are in all those jars and beakers?
I mean, of course, it's Sense, of course. It's a beautiful new set, right?
Yeah, I'm just fast. I can't stop looking at like the jars of different colored liquids.
I have to say, I love, the Y&R has gone through a lot of changes over the years, and I love the new direction that they're going in, and they're really focused on kind of bringing back the business storylines, especially the Abbotts versus the Newmans, and I just love the new set. It's very cool. It's very modern. They're really definitely pushing towards more modern storytelling. So
you've worked with two of the best actors in Y&R history, with Eileen Davidson and Eric Braeden. I think you have mad chemistry with Eric Braeden.
I think so too. Yeah. I love working with him. And so here's where my intern background comes on. comes to play, because I was a production intern. I did casting and I worked on the floor, and for a while I was would sit in the booth behind Ed Scott, who used to be one of the
best.
Yeah, who was Melody Thomas Scott's husband, and he used to be the head producer and director. And so I would sit behind him and watch. And there'd be scenes with Eric Braeden and whoever was the co-star, and he's just really fun to watch, and he's very in the moment, and he's very his character. Like, he just knows it inside and out, and he'll keep going. Like, the scene will be done, but he'll keep going, and some actors aren't ready for that, and it's very clear.
I think a theater actor probably is more prepared.
I guess so, but if you don't know that, like, if you think the scene's over, you know, and you're not prepared for him to keep going and just like play, especially like in the rehearsal process, he likes to keep going, and so I think you're thrown off. But I was ready for that. So when we did our scenes together, like, you know, I was like, in my mind, I was like, okay, Eric, if you want to throw things at me, I'm going to throw them back. And so it was a good like back and forth, and I think I really earned his respect.
Well, one of my favorites is where you've been exposed, and he tells you to keep working there, and you're like, I can play dumb, and he's like, I think you'll
act like an idiot.
I think that'll be
act like an idiot. I can do that.
He basically was saying, I think that'll be really easy for you.
Yeah, wasn't that a funny scene?
Was that written, or did he like say that?
No, that was written that way.
Okay.
I mean, his delivery was fantastic, but I loved the tone of that scene. It was just so great, and I love that they were kind of edging towards doing a little bit of a comedic edge with Tobias, which I love.
That's my dream. Like, I don't know. I mean, my fantasy is he's in a hot love triangle with Kevin and Detective Mark Harding, but I know that's never going to happen. So I want him to just go to work for Victor full time, and like they have those scenes all the time because it was really funny.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see. Right now we're I was exposed, and Ashley fired me, and I was taken off premises. So we'll see what happens.
Hashtag save Tobias.
Hashtag save Tobias. I think it's open to come back. I've had a lot of great fan response from it, and
there's a new head writer that's
Chuck Pratt.
Yeah. Have you met him or talked to him?
I've not met him. He literally came on right as I came on, so we'll see. I don't know. He has a lot of
Chuck.
Come on.
He wrote his last show was The Lion Game, which is another ABC Family show.
Okay. I so far it looks like it's the direction it's going is really exciting. So I would love to come back and be part of that.
Victor needs employees. Like, nobody works for him, even though he has this big corporation.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of floors on that in that Newman Enterprises.
They paint him in such a negative light, or such a evil guy. Even I think the comedy like lightens him up a little bit. I really like.
Right, and don't you love it when he also is hanging with his children or his grandchildren? It's a whole other angle, but it'd be kind of fun to have some comedic corporate espionage happening. Or there's so many things. I can team up with so many people, but it'll happen.
Yes, superstar here. So you're busy doing other things as well. You're going to be on a new show coming up, Romeo.
Yeah, it's called Romeo and Juliet: Love is a Battlefield, and it's all Pat Benatar music. And it's at this amazing space called Rockwell Table and Stage.
I think she once guest starred and performed on Young and the Restless.
You know way too much. Did that really happen?
I know a lot of useless trivia. No, this was like in the last 10 years. It wasn't that long ago.
Really? Okay. Well, that'd be a huge full circle moment.
Unless I'm just making that up.
But yeah, it's at this space called Rockwell Table and Stage in Los Feliz, and they do these amazing sort of.
Los Feliz is in New
Orleans. You're a New Yorker, so in Los Angeles. And it's this really great space where it's very interactive, and it's like sort of 360 theater. It's very immersive. It's happening all around you. And the creator and executive producer of The Fosters, Bradley Bredewig, wrote and directed this adaptation. And it's just a rock show. I'm singing my face off. It's going to be pretty thrilling. So that opens on Valentine's Day.
Oh, wow. How long is it going to
run? 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, because I'll be in LA end of March, so maybe I'll...
Okay, yeah, it should
awesome.
be...
I'm there.
Let me know.
What's the LA theater scene like? Because I'm in the theater capital of the world here.
I love LA because you can do Sorry. You can do everything there. And there's a pretty strong, thriving theater scene. It's smaller, but there's a lot happening, and I've done some really great stuff there. And
I've seen some shows there in weird places, like downtown and warehouses and different venues.
It's definitely it's not Broadway because there are a lot of alternative spaces, but there are a lot of regional theaters. But for instance, Rockwell and Los Feliz is it actually is like a restaurant space, and I don't want to say it's not a cabaret, but the theater happens all around you, and it's just very like it's a combination of food, of drink, of excitement, of theater experience, and yeah, there are a lot of inventive, experimental things happening in Los Angeles.
Did you meet Judith Chapman during your Y&R adventures? Because she does a lot of theater out there.
No, I did not. And funny, yeah, no, I didn't. I was mostly in the Jabot Lab, or in the Christmas tree lot.
And that's a park. Oh my God, that's my least favorite set ever.
I think it's beautiful at night. It's all the lights. But yeah, I was very much isolated with, But please, I got to work with Eric Braeden, Eileen Davidson, Sean Kerrigan, who is the man. Like he's a hilarious comedian.
He's a comedian, so he's funny, right? Is he funny, or does he save it all for the stage?
No, he's funny. He's funny, but he's really like just a very, very genuine guy, and completely made me feel comfortable and at home right away. And so did Eileen, just from the get-go.
Were there any Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cameras or anything happening?
No, they shot that way before. But I'm a huge Housewives fan, and I'm actually appearing. The reason I'm even here in New York is that on Tuesday I'm appearing on Watch What Happens Live.
As a guest?
Yeah, as a guest. The bartender.
Oh, the guest bartender.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a good slot.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. But
who are the guests? Oh, it's a Real Housewives guest, right? Probably.
I think it actually is Eileen.
Oh yeah, she's in New York. I saw her tweeting a picture from Central Park.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. So fingers crossed. But yeah, so that would be really fun.
That'd be funny. You show up at every show she does. You're like the Hitchcock of Eileen Davidson.
That's kind of creepy, but
yeah.
But I'm not Brandy Granville. I'm not the crazy fan. But yeah, no, I love working with her. So anytime I would get to see her is always a joy. She's just truly. The whole cast they're all just really, really amazing people. Even Eric is just he's very much in his craft, but he's a very genuine person, especially ones like you've kind of proven yourself to him. He's been very supportive.
All right, last question. You've done so many things and traveled and been in different shows, even I Love Lucy, national tour.
I Love Lucy live on stage.
What is your dream role that you haven't played? Like what's your dream role that you're like dying to play that you haven't played yet?
Well, actually, and I'm auditioning for it on Friday, and ironically, it's Michael Urie's part from Buyer and Seller. There's the one-man show where he's a actor who ends up being Barbra Streisand's works in Barbra Streisand's basement, where it's like, have you not heard of the show?
No, I mean I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it.
I'm trying to explain it. Barbra Streisand apparently has a basement shop in her Malibu estate.
She probably does.
Where it looks like the Grove or whatever. But so in this play, it's this disgruntled actor who ends up getting this job being the employee downstairs in the Barbra Streisand shop. And it's a one-man show.
This will be a good acting gig for you because you don't seem disgruntled at all. You have such a happy personality that
Well, it's funny. It's like the character himself. He's from Northwestern. He worked at Disneyland, which I do sometimes. I'm a singer over at Disneyland.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, are you a prince or?
No, not a prince. I do the Newsies show.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeremy Jordan part or?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You're the lead in Newsies?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We can sing after. Cool.
So yeah, that'd be fun. That's on the immediate trajectory. That's kind of what I would love to do. Just a one-man show, kind of like Judith Chapman.
Yes. Your agent must love you. You're like booking things and.
She's pretty happy. Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Cool.
Making it happen.
All right. So we'll look for more of you on Young and the Restless. This needs to happen. Save Tobias.
#Save Tobias. Which you started.
Thank you very much.
Nice meeting you. Thank you so much.
Take care.